So hi guys and welcome along. Today back out with RB test ride number 2 today, and we are taking out this is a Yamaha Fazer 800cc Fazer compared to the normal 600s. You do a 1000 version, we don't see many of those, but this is the 800cc version of the Fazer. This has ABS, but just get a look at the front of this bike. Does that not look mean and aggressive? Got a lovely set of gold shocks and forks to the front of this one, typical twin discs, and then that 4-into-1 pipe that just runs under the bike on this one. Nice little black can to the rear, and it's quite a squatty can, but it does set the bike off very, very well. And obviously just check out that hugger at the back. That's all part of that swing arm. It's got a big old swing arm on this one. One thing I did find about this that I absolutely love is tail tidies on a bike, but tail tidies tend to look a bit ugly. This one, very, very aerodynamic with all the fins in it, and it sets that plate out quite low to the back of the bike. Obviously you can get a shorter tail tidy just to put under the back, but I do like that. And the pillion peg setup on this is absolutely superb. It's really well engineered. What you would expect from a typical Yamaha bike. So we're just going to get on this one, we're going to fire it up and then tell you a little bit about the bike. When it comes up, LED display is off to the left, and then you've got your typical analog look clock to the right hand side of the bike. Firing this up, no lights to show. Side stand up and get it into gear. Now obviously on the digital display you've got your fuel tank, your miles per hour, the time and your trip mileage, and there is also your water temperature just off to the top left of that LED display. Mirrors on this, I've got about, I would say, literally 1/8 of my shoulder in those mirrors, so the mirror setup on this is very, very good. So we're going to get this one out into traffic and just tell you a little bit about the bike and show you what it does. Now obviously low speed handling, once again what we normally do from this car park. First gear, clutch out, let the bike roll. But just look how easy it is just to manage at very, very low speeds. And this bike is very, very flickable. It really flicks around well, as what you would expect from a bike of this quality. Quite a small screen to the front of this. It's not going to deflect any wind away from the front of the face. And just coming in on the back brake to start with, perfect. Out into traffic, and we just work our way through the box like we normally do. First, second, third, and then get the power on. But just look at that power delivery, straight up to 70, and absolutely lovely. It really, really has got a bit of torque to this bike. And just shifting lanes, and my favourite bit coming up the roundabout. And obviously I scrubbed these tyres a bit when I came down just to see what this bike is like compared to the BMW we took out previously. This thing is so flickable and manoeuvrable. It feels like you're riding a 125. And as you can see, that corners exceptionally well. Obviously I didn't take that too low, but just stepping on the power doesn't take you long, just in second gear, just to bang that up. And that's third, and then fourth, fifth. So just using that box just to get that power on, and that's sitting at a nice steady 70 mile an hour. Absolutely lovely. And obviously once you're seated on the bike with a bit of wind, with these small bars on it, it is just so manageable and absolutely beautiful. And then coming in on the front brake, just to show you, that pulls down so hard. Visor up for my normal little trick that I do under the bridge. And the can on this is not that loud, but coming through, it's got a nice little brat to it. The typical Yamaha whine, but just, you can see I can just flick this thing around. It really does flick low. Just get an idea of the angle. I'll sit back a bit and just lean her over. You can just see how low you can just push this thing around. And obviously the roads are still slightly cold. They're not as hot as what I'd like them to be, to obviously get the bike down low enough. But you can just see how manoeuvrable and how manageable this Fazer is. And what an exceptional bike this is. And it's very easy just to clutch down through the box. I tend to rev match coming down, but just changing down through the box just by pulling the clutch in. It's not clunky, and it's very, very smooth and efficient off of that clutch. But just rolling around in second gear, and believe me, you can just flick this thing around. And then obviously fourth, fifth, up into sixth. It goes through the box very, very smooth. So absolutely faultless on the gearbox. And as for the ride mid-peg position on this one, as always, very, very upright. But once again, you can just filter through that traffic. Now obviously with this roundabout you have to watch that cars don't come in from the right into your lane, but that burst of power will get you out of a tight spot if you need it. So it's available from Eclipse motorcycles, and obviously one in this condition is not going to hang around for very, very long. And I absolutely enjoy this bike. It's lovely. It's got that sports bike flick, but obviously in an upright tourer, and a lot of people have obviously said the Fazer is very, very similar to how the MT handles, and I can see why the MT is such an appeal for bikers. But the Fazer, just as good a bike, and it obviously with those low bars, it does get your wrists down, so you have got that sports bike feel to the bike. But from the off, doesn't take you long to get it up to 30 mile an hour from around town and just sitting in second gear. And I can just sit here with my hand on the tank. And obviously one-handed, low speed, it does corner exceptionally well. So very, very manoeuvrable. Is available from Eclipse Motorcycles at www.eclipsemotorcyclesmk.co.uk. The link is down the bottom right hand side, and the telephone number is there, which is 01908 643 603. Give the bike sales team a call and you could be the lucky owner of this one. And until the next time where we're out ride testing with RB, be well, ride safe, and as always, it's a big goodbye from me.